If your Google ads are getting plenty of clicks, but your phone just still isn't ringing, I'm willing to bet that your problem isn't actually Google ads. In fact, there's a really good chance that your campaign is doing exactly what you told it to do. The problem is somewhere else. You've probably experienced it yourself. Your dashboard says that you got a couple hundred clicks last month, and then you spent real money, and yet the phone is almost always silent. Or maybe it rings, but it's the wrong people on the other end. And that's super frustrating, and it makes you even wonder if Google Ads works for a business like yours. The good news is that this problem is almost always fixable. The clicks are real, they just aren't turning into calls. And there's usually one of 4 reasons why this is. So in this video, I'll show you how to tell if your keywords are attracting the wrong people, how to quickly spot whether your landing page is quietly costing you calls, and how to find out if the real problem isn't your ads at all, but maybe it's your tracking or the way that your business is handling incoming calls. The biggest mistake I see business owners make is assuming that clicks and calls are the same thing. They're not. A click is simply someone raising their hand and saying, I'm interested enough to take a look. Everything that happens after that determines whether they actually become a lead. And if your ads are getting clicks but no calls, there's almost always a disconnect somewhere between what that person searched for and what happens after they land on your website. The good news is that that disconnect usually comes from just one of 4 places. So let's start with the one that I see the most often. Reason number 1, your keywords are pulling in the wrong people. So the most common reason your ads get clicks but no calls is actually pretty simple. Your ads are showing up for people who were never going to become customers in the first place. So think about someone who owns a plumbing company. They decide to advertise for the keyword water heater. On the surface, that sounds like exactly what they should be targeting. But think about all the different reasons someone might type those 2 words into Google. So one person is trying to figure out why their water heater stopped working. Someone else is looking for replacement parts. Another wants the owner's manual. And then someone else plans on fixing it themselves and is looking for DIY videos. And yes, a handful of people are actually looking to hire somebody to install a new water heater. But Google doesn't automatically know which one of those people that you want. So if your keywords are too broad, your ad can show up for all of them. And the result is exactly what you'd expect. You get plenty of clicks because your ad is relevant enough to earn that click, but very few calls because most of the people were never planning to hire anyone anyways. So this is why I tell people not to obsess over click volume. I'd rather have 50 high qualified clicks than 200 random ones. Fewer clicks with more calls almost always wins. So how do you know if this is happening in your account? So if you open your ads account and go to keywords, and then search terms, this report shows you the actual phrases that people have typed into Google before they clicked your ad, not just the keywords that you added into your campaign. So if you start seeing things like DIY or parts, manual, jobs, salary, free, you've probably found one of the leaks in your campaigns. And this fix is usually pretty straightforward. Add those low quality searches as negative keywords so that your ads stop showing for them. I would also check your match type. So broad match is the loosest match type that Google offers and can sometimes bring in those irrelevant searches. So if you are relying on all broad match keywords, it might be best to actually start with exact match instead. And one thing that is worth mentioning is that this is not something that you are just going to do once and then leave it. There are new searches happening every day that are triggering your ads. So you need to go through these search terms regularly. So this is an ongoing maintenance task and not just a one-time thing. Once you've cleaned up your traffic coming into your campaign, then the next question becomes, what happens after someone clicks? Because even if you're attracting exactly the right people, they still have to like what they see when they land on your website. Reason number 2 that you're getting clicks but no phone calls is that your landing page doesn't match the promise of your ads. So let's say someone is searching for emergency plumber near me. They see your ad that says 24/7 emergency plumber. Will be there fast. That's perfect. They click and they land on your homepage. So instead of seeing emergency plumber front and center, they see a picture of your team, your company history, and a long list of the services. And none of that is inherently bad, it's just not what they came for. So when someone clicks on an ad, they're trying to answer one question as quickly as possible. am I in the right place? So if they have to scroll around or hunt for information or piece together whether you actually solve their problem, there's a good chance that they'll just hit the back button and call the next company. That's especially true on mobile, where most local service searches happen. So this is why your landing page should continue the conversation that your ad has already started. If your ad says emergency plumber, your landing page should immediately say emergency plumber. If your ad is about water heater installation, your landing page should be about water heater installation. So the message should almost feel seamless between the two. And Google actually looks at this too. So landing page experience is one of the factors that contribute to your quality score. So in other words, Google wants to see that the page someone lands on is relevant and useful for the search that they just made. Then there's page speed. So a lot of business owners spend weeks tweaking headlines and button colors while their page takes 6 or 7 seconds to load on a phone. That's a huge problem. A slow website creates the exact same symptom as bad advertising. You'll get a lot of clicks, but very few calls. So on to reason number 3, your tracking is broken. This one catches a lot of business owners off guard. Sometimes the calls are actually happening, you just can't see them. So from your perspective, it looks like Google isn't working, when in reality, your tracking is broken. And here's what I mean. So someone clicks on your ad, they land on your website, they call the number, you answer, you book the job. Everything worked exactly as it should. But if your call tracking isn't set up properly, Google has no idea that call ever happened. They lose them the moment they touch your website. So to Google, it looks like just another visitor who then disappeared. And I've seen businesses pause perfectly good campaigns simply because they thought they weren't generating leads, when the real issue was that the conversions were never being recorded. And that's where good tracking becomes incredibly valuable. Instead of wondering whether your ads are working, you can start to see what keywords are generating the most phone calls, which campaigns produce the highest quality leads, which days generate the most calls, how many calls are being answered versus missed. And that's the kind of information that lets you make decisions based on data and not just guesswork. Now let's assume that your tracking is working perfectly. You can see the calls, you know they're coming in, but your business still isn't making more money. That means the problem might not be Google Ads anymore. It's what happens after the phone starts ringing. And so reason number 4 is that your calls are coming in, but they get lost. And this one is probably the hardest for business owners to hear, because by this point, your Google Ads are actually doing their job. They are bringing you leads, and those leads are high quality, and those leads are looking for what you solve. But the leads aren't turning into customers. At that point, you don't have an advertising problem, you have a phone problem. And this happens more often than people realize. The phone rings while everyone's out on jobs, so it goes to voicemail. Or someone answers, takes a message, and nobody ever calls them back. Or somebody fills out a form, but nobody ever follows up with them. Or a quote doesn't get sent out till 5 days later. Or maybe the person answering the phone doesn't know how to qualify the lead and book that appointment. From the business owner's perspective, it looks exactly like Google Ads isn't working. Your clicks went up, I'm spending money, but I'm not booking more jobs. But the leak isn't happening with the ads. The ads are bringing you leads, you just aren't closing them. One of the easiest ways to find out if this is your issue is to listen to the calls coming in through the ads. So you can either use a call tracking software, or you can check the call report inside of Google Ads to see the phone numbers that have actually called from the ads themselves. And sometimes you'll discover that most of your missed opportunities happen during lunch or after 5 o'clock or whenever the owner is out on a job. And sometimes the fixes aren't even that complicated. Maybe you need to put the ads on a schedule so they stop running at 5 o'clock. Maybe calls need to be forwarded to someone else after hours. Maybe your team just needs a simple process where every qualified lead gets a call back within a certain time frame. Small changes like that often have a much bigger impact than just increasing your ad budget. Because if 10 qualified people call your business and only 5 ever speak to someone, doubling your ad spend isn't going to fix that problem. It's just sending twice as many people into the same broken system. So if you're getting clicks but not calls, don't always assume that it's Google Ads problem. Work through these 4 areas one at a time. So check your search terms report, make sure your landing page matches the promises on your ad, make sure your landing page is fast, verify your call tracking is actually recording conversations, and then listen to the calls that are coming in. Most businesses will find the leak in less than 30 minutes. But if you're not sure where to look inside your account, that's exactly what I'm going to cover in this next video here. So I'll walk you through how to audit a Google Ads account step by step so that you can quickly spot wasted spend, missed opportunities, and the biggest issues holding your campaigns back. So just click right here and I'll show you exactly how to do that.